Okay, there. Good afternoon, Jabs. How are you doing?
Ngiyaphila none, unjani wena?
Ndiyaphila Nkosi. Guys, today
Mm.
we have Unjabula kasisiphethe. We have Unjabulo namhlanje. We're going to talk about something that was said in court, I think back in 2023, but it's something worth looking into. I think the reason we do these videos, it's not because we are wasting time or we have nothing to do, but I suppose it's also some sort of education to the people of South Africa. It may be a problem of the accused currently, but it's a problem of all of us, because if these things we let them slide right now, they will grow to be bigger than they are right now. And right now we have an opportunity, especially via YouTube, Jobs, to put a stop in some of the things, because if there are other police officials who wish to start something like this, be it in other high profile cases or not, the moment they come and be known to people, they will know that there are these people that will stop at nothing but to expose the truth. So that is the reason why we are doing this. Not because we are fighting against state or anyone, but we want justice to be done and served fairly for everyone that is involved, be it it's the victim's family, be it it's the accused person, be it it's everybody else that is involved in that case, no matter how involved they are.
Yeah, no, thanks, man. Thanks for that, because if I come to your space to talk to your audience,
Yes.
one always gets worried with, oh, okay, what am I going to talk? What is Noni's stance in this regard? Are you for justice, or you are already made up your mind that you are pro-state or pro-defense?
Mm-hmm.
So what we try to do is with the analysis, because people are always saying that I'm pro-defense. I'm not pro-defense, I'm pro-justice for the
Yes.
male criminal. So in such a way that we, if then Danzi were to lead evidence and there's something that is not making sure, we'll unpack that as well.
Of
But then
course.
now what is interesting is that this case now is still being led by the state.
Yes.
And the state and its witnesses are the same people that we have issues with. So, Noni, with your permission, I want to share something with you so that we can talk based on record.
Yes.
The investigation team did give me enough evidence to tell me that the number ends with 202 belongs to suspect number 5. The other number ends with 458 belongs to Kelly Kumalo. And that the investigation leader will come and testify about that.
Manje ke mina engakusho ke ukuthi ithimba labaphenyi likwazile ukunginikeza ulwazi olwanele ukuthi ke ngikwazi ukusho ukuthi le nombolo ke ephelele ngo202 yommangalelwa wesihlanu kanti 458 egcina ngo458 ile kaKelly Khumalo. Lokho ke bangakwazi ukuthi beze la enkantolo bazokwazi ukuqinisekisa.
Colonel, I don't want us to testify or to refer. Can you tell this court with sentencing if the number read into the record as the number belonging to Mr. Ntuli was recorded or not? If yes, to which address was it registered to?
The number wasn't recorded in his name.
Okokuqala ke inombolo lena ke okuthiwa kwakuyinombolo kalona ubaba Ntuli ibingekho record okanye ibingekho abazange bayirike ngaphansi kwelokho njani ke.
So it was recorded under which name?
I'm not sure, my lord.
Angazi ke igama elalivelela elibonisa ukuthi ke ilona elarika leyo nombolo okwakuthiwa ke inombolo kababa Ntuli.
From your investigation you couldn't find that?
That's correct, my lord.
Okay.
Ucanga ke uphenyo engangilenza akuvelelanga ukuthi leyo nombolo yarikelwa egameni likabani.
Okay, so it is your evidence that from your investigation you couldn't determine if this number allegedly to set belonging to accused number 5 was recorded under his name or was recorded under any other person's name?
It was definitely Rika, my lord, but not under his name.
Yona ke yari kwa leyo nambolo kodwa ke hayi ngaphansi kwegama laka Mangalelwa kanye accused number 5.
Okay, so-
Isandla sika Mangalelwa, the accused person number 5, Sandy.
I said if you say it was recorded under whose name?
I'm not sure, but definitely not his name, because then I should have known. And you couldn't use it if it's not Rika.
Anginaso ke isiqiniseko sokuthi ibingekho segameni lakhe. Should ibi Rikiwe yona kodwa ke ibingarikwanga egameni lakhe. Anginalo ke igama eyarikhelwa kulo.
And the address given there too as well under the RECA transaction?
I'm not sure about the address, but then definitely not sure it wasn't his name.
Okay.
Kodwa ke anginaso isiqiniseko se-address yokurika ke leyo nambolo. Kodwa ke engikwazi ukuthi igama bengelona igama lakhe elalirike leyo SIM card.
So if it was recorded under someone else's details, how then do you say it belonged to Mr. Ntuli?
No. This number was used by suspect number 5.
Ngoba sengishilo ke khona ulwazi esalithola kwithimba labaphenyi ukuthi leyo nambolo ke iregister ngaphansi umsola wesihlanu.
So the information you got is that it was used by number 5 by Mr. Ntuli, not that it was recorded under Mr. Ntuli.
That's correct.
Yebo kuyiqiniso lokho ke ulwazi
Well, means
Now, Noni, we are back.
Yes.
And if you saw the clip, Noni,
Yes.
I've reposted it last year. It's Jan 11, 2024. Yeah. And then the evidence was led in June 2023, if I'm not mistaken. Now, July,
August.
Yes, Ustein was in court in July up until the beginning of August.
Yes.
Yes, so it may have been cross-examined by Mshololo probably around the 31st or 1st or 2nd of August, somewhere there, 2023. Now, he says in the last point that the number he has, it's not record against number 5.
Yes, that's quite interesting.
And then the address details again, they're not under number 5. But then he says that I'm here because information I was told now.
By investigators.
Yes. So now do you see how then it becomes a problem?
Mhm.
Steyn is there as a technical expert
Yes.
to use the technical information to validate the originality or the authenticity or the credibility
of the
a person.
information.
Yes.
Yet,
Now-
yet Steyn is unable to tell us which name was it rather recorded under if it's not Ntuli's name. He is definitely sure it was not recorded under Ntuli's name, but he is not sure. He is not sure whose name it was recorded under. He is not sure about the address, but definitely not Ntuli's address. Did you hear him say that?
Yes, yes. That is when now, because when I started exposing this thing on TikTok, the state machinery went over time. That's when later on you get the introduction of hosts.
We're still coming there.
Yes, yes. That's how then you get the introduction of hosts from everything that's been happening, but that's how hosts come to the picture. Now, what is important then on is for us to understand that we've been misled. Because me as a technical person, I can say to you, based on the technical information, at least a SIM card belongs to you or a phone belongs to you, because there's certain things that I can link. The same process that Ustein did when he was trying to link a SIM card with Mathebula's phone and everything. So that's how he will have said. I will imagine he could have said that, oh yeah, this SIM card, I can only link it to number 5 because at some point I saw that one number that belongs to number 5 is also used the same SIM card, basically. Do you understand?
Yes.
But then not for staying to come and sostena inganekwane like hearsay stories. He can't be doing that.
As an expert in his field.
Yes, as a technical expert. Remember, when you say technical expert, is that your information known, it's based on the technical analysis.
Which means it's scientific.
Yes, it's not subjective. So that is why when Mshololo says, can you tell me, like using the, let me use Brigadier's word, without the shadow of doubt. that this number belongs to number 5. With certainty that this number belongs to number 5. And Stein says no. And we're in a criminal court, no.
And he's a technical specialist.
Yes, and he says no. So now then do you see that now, how can I be not sure about a key part of identification of a device? Then comes back and say the same device made these calls and made these calls, and I have surety of.
No, you can't.
Yes, what people must understand is that there was a raid that was done in jail. South African must understand that all inmates are allowed to have bank accounts. The banks come to prison
yes,
to make them to open their card. So by doing so, part of the process, you see, that is why when I analyze this case, I then realize that, you know what, there's either something wrong with South African laws or people that are cooking. When you open a bank account, they will want your cell phone number. You cannot open a bank account without a cell phone number.
Especially nowadays.
Yes, the inmates, where are they getting the cell phone numbers from? Now then they come back to us and tell us that, oh, you have a bank account and this is a cell phone number that you've registered with. But I can tell you what, no, even the same numbers that they've accepted then, the defense lawyers, I've checked some of the few numbers, at least the numbers that were at least assigned to Ntuli between 2019 and 2020. Those numbers were already being used by other people. Now when they're saying that they did a raid and then they got some of the phones, for me, I have a problem with that. Because if you did a raid, there is not, Aziko Izgabi, there are no known hitmen that post the event. They'll still have phone and talk about the work that, no.
And they don't, do they talk about it via the cell phones?
Well, that's what they want us to believe when they say that Ntanzi was being threatened by both the accused number 3, 4, and 5. So now, how then do we move forward then from that?
But they never proved how he was threatened.
No, that's why now they're saying that it's Ntanzi that is saying that I was young, I was afraid on the confession. Mind you, none. And your listeners, I want you people to understand one thing, that in 2014, yes, of course, Ntanzi could be young. But still in the same 2014, we are also being told that Ntanzi also... One second.
Yes.
Akazange angibuza uBenedict bengenza umsebenzi umono, wayengibuza yena kuphela ukuthi ngangikuphi date so ngoba yena wayengibuza ukuthi mina ngihlala kuphi eFosolwazi, ngithi mina Nkosi enkantolo ngihlala eFosolwazi.
He never asked me that question, because what Kininda was asking me where I was on a particular date, and he also wanted to know where I was staying in Vosloorus, and I said that I'm not staying in Vosloorus.
eFosolwazi ngiyangogida ngo.
I only go to Vosloorus when we have to perform, whether we are singing, we are dancing.
And the police officers, in regard to the so-called Senzo case, did they ask you about certain individuals?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Regarding the arrest on the Senzo in that boardroom, was he asked about if he knew certain individuals?
Nkathi ke bekhuluma nawe laphayana ne bekubuza ke mayelana nelicala leli lika Senzo, ingaba bakhona abantu abathize yini abakubuza ngabo?
Kulaba bephakathi abanye.
Kulaba
babehleli khona lapha.
No, did you hear that part?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Remember, I was saying that we were talking about, sorry about earlier on, we're talking about Ntanzi, what he could have been doing at the time in
2014.
In 2014, yes. But then now, Ntanzi, that clip that I played there, it's Ntanzi under cross-examination. Ramsipele, they leading evidence, sorry, not cross-examination. Ramsipele is actually asking Ntanzi that who called you? That's when Ntanzi was telling Ramsipele that it's Mam Ruti that called me wanting to offer me a job.
I remember.
Yes, that's a clip. Now, I was young. I was afraid because they told me that if I open my mouth, they even know where my home is. These are words of Magistrate Cronje saying this is what Ntanzi was saying. Now, when you have that in mind, 2020, and you have Ntanzi narrating the story of Mam Ruti in 2020 again before he got arrested. Now, those two things, they don't add up because it does not show us that Ntanzi was vulnerable, that's one. Because also on the same level, Brigadier Kininda, when he comes to arrest Ntanzi, he comes to arrest Ntanzi on the Nongoma case. he comes to arrest Ntanzi because there are also pending cases, over 30 cases that Ntanzi have that relating to dealing with guns. Remember, Ntanzi has been working with Basotho from Northwest.
I remember.
Yes. So now, how can then Ntanzi, if he's this mighty, but then now all of a sudden in 2020, June, where else Ntanzi is outside, is running his operation comfortable, and the people that are saying that they are accused are behind bars. How can Ntanzi be vulnerable and be scared of people that are behind bars, where else he's already running his fully fledged gun business? He's working with this in cab and everything like that, and go and confess in that way of Magistrate Cronje. Yes, because you have asked me, no, on the clip, why did I say that cell phone evidence misled? So then now you are not able to even confirm the technical aspect of cell phone issues. You understand?
That you are meant to be knowing as a technical person.
But then now all of a sudden, then you are expected that we must trust you.
Also, Njabulo, the other shocking part when it comes to this cell phone evidence regarding Kelly Khumalo and accused number 5, if it is supposedly in their cell phones and it's evident that they spoke, when they are dealing with such a crucial thing, would they just spoke twice?
No.
It can't be. Since they are speaking via the cell phone, they are supposed to be organizing.
Yeah, and then also, they're speaking via BlackBerry.
I did have a BlackBerry back in the day. No.
You see, the depressing part about the case, it's not that there's a person that lost his life. It's the sequence of events that then took place
after.
And now they are still taking place in court. That's the sad part about it, because I can tell you that state witnesses are not trustworthy. I mean, no, I will tell you something. I've even tried to listen to the Ngache. And even his evidence as well is not making sure.
I remember you saying that back in 2023 already.
Yeah, I'm saying it's not making sure, because
I remember Njabulo, you saying that actually we had a conversation on your live saying about this, because you said, no, I don't trust the Ngache guy. So I'm like, Njabulo, he's bringing elements that are showing that he saw what he saw while he was still at home. And then when you were like, okay, let's leave that part of him getting curious while they were still at home. What happened when he entered the Khumalo home? After that, what was happening? That's where your suspicion starts.
Yes, even there's, I think Ramsepele puts a question to Zand, saying that there is a statement of Ngache. I think Ramsepele or Normal. The Ngache son says, he saw a white
T-shirt
sent through the wind. And then Zandi's thing is saying, do you know our wind as a Kai? How is it possible that a person can see the fence through the wind? Because if the door is half closed, half open, that means it will disturb the window sill. But then also, if the fence is that tall or anything like that, they might have a cover on that. Because Zandi was like saying, if he says that, that's what he saw. I don't know. Now, how can I think the guy was there trying to support the narrative that Senzo was shot. Senzo was around next to the door when the shooting take place.
How?
But that's rubbish for me. That's rubbish for me because Noni, somebody even from our channel, we channel as expert, somebody wrote another analysis where people are really opening up their eyes, which what? Because now we're not telling the story, Noni. We go on record, we play the record, like now.
Yes, and we are analyzing what we are hearing from the courtroom.
Yes. And we're talking. Steyn says that it didn't find any information using his technical expertise. This information, it was given to him by the investigators.
So when we are dealing with that, coming back to Steyn now, we have 9 minutes. When we are dealing with that, Jebs, as a technical specialist yourself and the data analyzer, when it comes to the evidence of Steyn, do you remember Annie? And Annie used to say, in a real court, in a real court, that won't fly. Because you can't be expected to be an analyst, if not an analyst, a specialist, if not an expert. The next thing, you have things that you are not sure of. You cannot be giving evidence if that's the case, because you are not helping the court to realize the truth.
Yes. No.
So
yes.
In other words, that means Steyn in the evidence yakhe. As Rata normally says, if Rata says that if this case goes to another case, other people, judges that can listen to that case, Steyn's evidence is hogwash.
No, but for now, remember, nobody has told Steyn that Steyn, what you're saying does not make sense. Yes. Technically, it does not make sense. So Steyn's version, according to Rata's court, stands. And you can only blame the defense lawyers for that. And that is why I come from the point where we spoke about these things. There was an extension offer that people had offered to get people to pay. That we can advise, give information, advise the defense lawyers, them as a collective. They refused that. They were not interested. So now when South Africans are saying, no, share this information we tried to share with them. So now then we realize that
some South Africans were willing to pay for it without them paying as defense lawyers.
Yes.
And they refused help.
Yes, they were refusing because even me, I actually said, because the service needs to be paid, I even offered that I can do the service for 100 rand because there needs to be a value associated with it. Just as their consultant, I said, they don't even need their own expert. You see, that's a beauty of
it all.
Yes, of how the states have entangled themselves. They didn't even need their expert. They will have told us questions that he was not going to be able to answer.
They never took the opportunity.
No, they were not interested in it. I mean, they were not interested, apparently, because they're being funded by legal aid, so there are regulations. They cannot take advice from other people because the state is going to ask them who gave them that information.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's not a hearsay. No, I got it from the hospital.
I remember. I remember.
So that's not a hearsay. So
you're not saying that.
No. I'm not on those things. So now that's a sad part that people in your fence must understand that the hogwash that Steyn gave us will remain the truth in Rata's court because no defense lawyers have
fought against it.
Yes, discredited it.
Eish,
They didn't tell, yes, they didn't tell Steyn that.
Mamela nje, before we go, we have 5 minutes. You remember that they said in evidence the first call, that's what Steyn said, that the first call came through 2nd August 2014 to Kelly Khumalo from okanye between Kelly Khumalo and I choose number 5. And the second one, it was 15 October 2014. So that was a week before the tragic incident, right? But now, what I want to understand is that as Steyn was telling us those things regarding Kelly, no, I choose the number 5. There is nothing else. It can't be just this technically. He is supposed to have something that says, I can affirm that these calls were about the incident because prior these calls, ABCD happened. Isn't there something that he's supposed to have technically, or from checking whatever that he said, or however you guys investigate?
Let me tell you, none. It starts from a phone of number 3, Steyn.
Yes.
Steyn says, on a phone of number 3, I found a number that written Mfoka Khumalo.
I remember.
Yes. When he says Mfoka Khumalo, what is Kelly's surname?
Khumalo.
Now, when they saying that number 5 is related with the Zungu and the Khumalo, so now they're trying to say that's what they were cooking, that because Mfoka Khumalo and the number 5, so number 5 will communicate with Kelly Khumalo because they've got the authentication that the number is saved in number 3's phone that belongs to number 5 as Mfoka Khumalo. So now, number 5 and Kelly, they will communicate because they bought the Khumalos and all that. But the problem started when everybody was denying, says, but remember, even Zungu's information was a mess. The name, it was calling different names, it was calling Kwabini, it was calling this. But then now, once you start to unpack, number 5, his mom is Umazungu.
Yes.
Yes. Now, when you now see Zungu as a witness is Zungu, but then Zungu, when he's talking about Umshana, is younger brother's son. Yena is calling the younger son as Kwabini. Then you have Apulum Zungu, which is Zungu's father. According to clans and everything, a person that should be either be called Zungu or Kwabini should be Absalom.
Alone.
So, yes. So now the reason you cannot call, we've not even heard the version of how does Uzungu call his father. So, no summary of the misleading of the evidence between number 5 is cause. I can tell you what, they're trying to cook with the name which they're saying for Khumalo, because number 5 is related with the Khumalos, and then they wanted to take the surname Khumalo to match it with Kelly Khumalo, so that the communication appears to be normal, as both that days are both the Khumalos. And
then chances are Kelly Khumalo is indeed, are they not from Enugu? I think
Kelly Khumalo went, he was moved, Gauteng, they did up until high school and moved. So,
yes.
Yes.
So they are from that side. These ones are from Kwanongo. It's a mess. It's a mess. Let's come back with another video where we talk about something else interesting. Thank you so much.
All right, Noni, thanks. I just hope your people are learning.
Yes, they will. Bye-bye.
Bye.